Hey everyone, I'm Karthik. Here are 5 basic statements and functions that you need to know to get started with Python. First things first, we have the print function. The print function is a command used to print a message, be it a variable, a plain text, or any other object to the screen. The syntax of the print function would begin by writing the word print followed by parentheses. Inside the parentheses, you can have text, numbers, arrays, etc. Now, as an example, I'll just type hello world. Okay, and now we'll just print this. You can see that hello world is printed. You can even print numbers, as I have said. For example, 9, and you can see that even 9 is printed. Next up, we have conditional statements. Conditional statements help the computer make decisions on their own based on the conditions that we provide. Let's start writing a simple condition. Before that, I'll write a variable I, which is equal to any number, say 3. Okay? And then we'll start writing the condition by using the keyword if followed by our condition. In this case, I'm writing the condition as I is greater than 2. And then you have a colon. Next, you have to write an indent. If you're using code editors like PyCharm or Visual Studio Code, this indent would be done automatically for you. Here, you write the statements that you want to execute if the condition is true. So I just want to print that the value is greater than 2. Okay. Now I'll just run this. And you can see that value is greater than 2 is printed. Now, what if I is 1? Now, if I just execute, you can see that nothing is printed. In that case, what I could do, I could write an else statement. So for that, I'll just use the keyword else followed by a colon, and then I'll write the statements that I want to execute if the condition is false. So I'll just write print the value is lesser than 2. And now I'll just run this. And you can see that the value is lesser than 2 is printed. Okay, so what happens here is that I greater than 2 is the condition. Now, if the condition is true, then the statements inside the if condition would be printed. And now, if the condition is false, it would directly go to the statements below the else keyword. Third in the list, we have for and while loops. For loop is used to iterate through a list or an array. Now you might be wondering what iterate means. Iterate means to go through each and every element in a list or an array. Now let's visualize this. We have a basic array over here, and now what the for loop does is it takes the first element and then performs some functions in it. And this it does for all the other elements in the list. Now let's see a basic example of this for loop. Before that, I'll just name a variable words, which is an array containing some words like hello, hi, and hey. Okay. Now, to write the for loop, you have to start with the keyword for, followed by a variable I, and then a keyword in, and then the name of the array that you want to iterate through, that is words. Then you'll write a colon, and then inside this you'll write the statements that you want to execute in each and every element. So I'll just print the element. So I'll just write print and then I, that is the element. Now if I just run this, you can see that each element of this array is printed over here. Now, we have another type of loop called the while loop. While loop runs until the given condition is false. Let's see an example of while loop. Before that, I'll name a variable k that is equal to 0. Now, to do the while loop, you have to type the keyword while followed by the condition that you're giving. For example, I'm giving the condition that k is less than 4. Okay, and then followed by the colon. Now, Here you will write the statements that you want to execute until the given condition is false. So what I want to do is print k, and to avoid this loop being an infinite loop, what you do is you just add k plus 1 and assign that to the value k. Now if you run this, you can see that 0, 1, 2, 3 is printed because k was initially equal to 0 and it gets added by 1 each time it goes through the loop. And thus when k is equal to 4, the while loop breaks and you don't see any other printing. Moving on, the import statement. The import statement imports codes from one module to another program. I have two files, file to import.py and import.py. I'll import the code from file to import.py into import.py. For this, we head on to import.py and type the keyword import followed by the name of the file that we want to import. In this case, file to import. File to import. Okay. So that's it. We have imported the file. Now to use it, in my file to import.py, I have a function named greetMe. Wait, what is this? How do we create a function in the first place? Well, you start by typing the keyword def, which stands for definition, followed by the name of the function that you want to create. Here it's greetMe, and then parenthesis, and inside the parenthesis you can pass arguments that the user can use to pass through values, followed by semicolon, and then inside the definition you can pass in what the function needs to do, all the functions of that function. So I'll just use this here. To do that, we'll type the name of the file, file to import, and then followed by a dot, and then the name of the function, that is greetMe. And I have to give a variable here. So what I will do is I'll just give my name, that is Karthik. And now I'll just run this and let's see what happens. And as you can see, the greeting is printed, greetings Karthik. Lastly, we have a really amazing function, the input function. As the name suggests, we can get user input with the input function. To use this function, type the keyword input followed by parenthesis, and inside the parenthesis you can write the instruction that you want to give to the user. For example, I'm writing enter your name. Okay, and now we'll just run this and you can see that we can type in the terminal. So I'll just type my name Karthik, and when I just press enter, it's done. Now if you want to store the input, what you could do is you could just give this a variable. For example, name is equal to input, and then you could just print this name. So print name. Okay, now I'll just run this and you could see there's a input. So I'll just type my name, then just click enter, and you could see that name is printed. That's basically it. Don't forget to smash that like button, comment down below, and as always, subscribe. Thanks for watching.